Okay, we've been doing some Christian videos. I think a lot of people need to hear stuff. A lot of people don't understand, or they're in denial and whatnot, right? But this video is going to be about a few different things. It's just like my daily life. Your daily life. Right. So, guys, see, I've got this old crosscut saw. Can be used either single or double-handed, right? One or two people. Okay. So, one thing about these old crosscut saws, this was actually in really good condition. It did not see a lot of use. Okay. As a matter of fact, I think it was brand new and it just sat around. Does not show any wear. But I looked up crosscut saw, to see, other people's saws and their collection and whatnot. But, because everything's got some kind of like a group, that's a devoted group to whatever it is, right? So I thought, oh, there's probably some crosscut saws on YouTube, so I looked it up. But the thing is that I noticed there's a lot of people that they're modifying their crosscut saw, and they really shouldn't be doing that because it's not the way it was designed. They're like, oh, you gotta like flare these teeth out, blah blah blah, and then they take a hammer and they bend a tooth one way or the other way. That's not how it's. These saw teeth are all supposed to be in a straight line. They're not supposed to be canted one way or the other. That's not how it's supposed to be. So these are your saw teeth here, and that's your raker, okay? And these openings are your gullets, okay? Now I brought out one of my pruning saws. Okay, this is a Jameson, they call this the Barracuda. Okay, this thing is as sharp as all get out, So I brought that out because I wanted to show you that this Barracuda blade is just like the old crosscut blade, but it's it's curved. Right, because you're going up and over the branch. Right. Now this is on the back cut, which means when you're pulling it back towards you. But anyway, that sucker is sharp. See that band-aid? That's just from me touching the tip of one of those tines on accident. So anyway, why are we talking about this? Because people are messing up their crosscut saws because this is old school, and nobody taught anybody, well, people taught people, but the pass down is so far long ago from generation to generation that some newer generation people don't know, so they're improvising or trying to figure it out themselves. But all of these should be in direct line. They should not be canted to one side or the other, right? But this tooth is sharpened on this side, and then the next tooth is sharpened on the other side. You see what I'm saying here? So one tooth is sharpened, so you got these two teeth here in sequence. This tooth should be sharpened on one side, and if it's sharpened on this side, then the other tooth should be sharpened on the other side, right? So we've got several teeth here, and then we got a raker which removes trash from the kerf. Two more teeth, raker. Okay, so like I said, the raker removes cut material from the saw kerf when you're sawing. All right. Okay. Just to kind of you guys an idea on that. Now here is a Jameson Barracuda, and the Barracuda is old technology in a new form, right? So I got I should have took a brush to this. I was out using it the other day, but I try to keep the tree debris out of there after I get done with it. Just clean it out because it will get some. But one thing that you could do is you could go ahead. I spray this with frog lube. Okay, I spray the blade with frog lube and wipe it down. And what that does is it helps to keep it from getting too gummed up. You know, because especially if you're pruning some limbs off of an evergreen, right? Because it's sappy, okay? So to keep it from getting all gummed up, you know, wipe it down with frog lube beforehand. And frog lube is environmentally friendly. It's food safe, so won't hurt the tree. Anything that's fairly large, then you should use, you know, some pruning spray on the wound. Okay, that keeps insects from wanting to get in there. All right. So this right here actually clicks into a pole. Okay, so you see there's the hole right there. So it goes into the pole. And then there's a mechanism where it just drops down a pin through that hole and it keeps it there. Of course, this is just, you whack on the branch. And the pole, got to be careful because that sucker's sharp. But the pole, that's where your action is. You push, okay, and then pull. And then these gullets here will help to get the larger debris off of the saw. What else have I been doing? I got this cordage in. Okay, so I got this cordage in. These are tethers. Oh, by the way, this is a brand new blade I just got a while back. I call it brand new because I haven't used the crap out of it. But it is the Barracuda by Jameson. So I got this cordage right here, this orange stuff. This is sterling 8mm. And it's good for about, I don't know, 2,800, 3,000 pounds, something like that. So this is a positioning lanyard. Okay. So when I'm up in the tree, if I want to maintain a certain spot in the tree where I'm using the chainsaw or I'm using the pruner or whatever, okay, I got my lifeline which goes up to my crown anchor, okay, which will be in the center on my harness, okay, my saddle or harness. And then this is a positioning lanyard. So basically this will go around some branch. This will be on my harness on a clip-in point, like a D-ring on the side or whatever. And then I've got other points that I put on the saddle, and then this would go around the branch and then just clip in. Right? We'll just pretend this is a tree harness. Alright? And then this is a triple fisherman's knot, which has been tied around both legs, both pieces of the cordage. Okay, so you basically, in general, you will make just a loop and put a triple fisherman's or a double fisherman's, right? A lot of people use double fisherman's. Sometimes I like to use a triple fisherman's. the more slippery the line, the more fishermen's. Double, triple, right? So this is a fairly slick cord. I went ahead and used triple fisherman's. Plus I'm using it around both. So I just squeezed that donut, okay, together. And I put my triple fisherman's around both sides of the cordage. And then I got a Prussik on here, a running Prussik. And I got 5 on either side, okay? So you can draw that in or you can let it out, okay? Now see, this is a pretty old rope. This rope's about 25 years old. So I use this for positioning, right? Not as a lifeline. I got the rest of the rope is still around. I use it for lowering limbs, fast lining limbs, that sort of thing. Kind of like a zip line for tree branches, right? So anyway, there's that one, and then I did this one up. I did this one with a Blake's hitch, because I can, right? This one's quite a bit longer. This rope is a static blue water assault line in olive drab. This one is a Mammut dynamic rope. And by the way, this is a double fisherman's termination knot. Okay, on here, on this side's Blake's hitch. So I'm going to go ahead and set this one up. These old screw gate type carabiners like this that are not auto locking, not sure that they're legal in arborist work or in working at height stuff. One thing you gotta remember is if you tighten this while it's weighted, it will be very tight when you unweight it, and you may not be able to unscrew it. Okay, so to untighten it, you have to weight it. Weight it to tighten it, weight it to untighten it. Alright. This one doesn't work that way. Okay, now this is a Kong. I talked about this with me the other day. This one pushes rather than pulls, which I didn't know that when I got it. But it's blue. It goes with this blue line. But Blake's hitch is a really good hitch. Okay, it's been used in arborist work for years. Tree climbers, right? Easy to move forward or back. It can lock up. Okay, it can, just like any other knot. So you got to be careful with that sort of thing. But the thing is that it's a very strong hitch. Okay, so over here I've got a triple fisherman's termination to this carabiner, and then I've got it on this 11mm Mammut rope. Okay, now the thing about the triple fisherman's, or no, the Blake's hitch, is that it's been used in arborist work forever. That's how I first learned in the 70s, attaching to a rope, and it was you took this end and you made this end like with a really long tail, and that tail became your Blake's hitch that went on this other end of your line. Okay, so this end attached to that part of the rope, and you just move it up and down. Alright, you would use foot locking on the rope with your boots, okay, or your shoes, which I don't recommend because you don't want to get dirt into your rope, right? Okay. But Cornell University did a lot of drop tests using a full-sized Blake hitch. This is not full-size. Blake's hitch, you can use the same size cord as your climbing line. Okay, if it's 11 millimeter Blake's hitch, 11 millimeter climbing rope. You know, I've got 12.7 millimeter Blake's hitches downstairs, and I could put those on this climbing rope, and they work. Most hitches don't work on the same, same size. They got to be smaller than whatever climbing rope. Not true with the Blake's hitch. Super strong. Look at the Cornell University tests. They took this massive load and threw it out of a tree, had it attached with a Blake's hitch. Blake's hitch held the load and it didn't break, and the rope didn't break. Mechanical devices ripped the sheath off of the rope or broke. Okay, talking about like like a sender, like a chest ascender type setup. Those are totally ripped off the sheath of the rope. Blake's hitch held. Might have been welded together from heat, but it didn't break and it didn't cut the rope. So Blake's hitch is very good. Okay, I'm out of time for this one. Catch you in another one.